recording.
Okay.
Hello, everyone. You got to hear our beautiful voices because I thought it would be a good idea to teach my friend, who I call Cynical from another game, how to think about and how to effectively do well in a Slay the Spire game. I don't really have a script. I'm kind of just winging it.
That's fine.
He calls me Liver.
Sorry. Or
Hello. Say hello, Cynical.
hi. Hello, YouTube.
Yes, that's Cynical. All right, well, I'm going to show you my character stats. I'm okay. I have 218 wins and 39 losses. I don't know. Can you see my screen, Cynical?
I can see your screen. Yeah, your
Yeah. Oh, you
mediocre
see the
screen.
Discord thing too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Um, these are my character stats. I personally think that Defect and Silent are absolutely busted. Like you can see I only have 3 and 2 losses on Ascension 10 with them. Which is why I don't play them. Ironclad, I play a little bit more. I think he got a little bit harder because his infinites got nerfed because you can't just like pick Bloodletting and then Spite and then Burning Pact and then just win the game regardless of what you're up against. That has changed with the most, I guess the last 2 balance patches. But I usually play Regent and Necrobinder. I'm actually on a terrible Necrobinder losing streak right now, I think. This one I literally just died to Terror Eel because I suck and my potions did not do anything. Yeah, I died to Doormaker here because I was being stupid. I misplayed that. I died to Bygone Effigy because I was greedy. This one was a multiplayer game. And this is what prompted okay, I need to make a video to help Cynical, and it'll help any of you that are trying to get better also, is I killed the entirety of Doormaker by myself, basically, because it had like 1,200 health, and Cynical died on turn 2. So,
Sorry.
It's fine. No, it's just during our runs, I'm like, oh, just do whatever, right? I'll try to carry you, but it has gotten harder, which is why I'm doing it. I'm gonna play Necrobinder because I'm on a losing streak and I need to fix that.
Fix that.
So
yeah.
The very first thing I look at is, am I in Underdogs or Overgrowth, which is like the jungle? I'm in the jungle because I see that I have Ceremonial Beast as the end of my fight. Now, the reason that's important is because there are 2 different Act 1s, right? There's the jungle and the docks, and how you play depends on which one you have. For example, if you're in jungle, I'm probably going to take a speculative reap because I could potentially slither it with an event like that. You know what that is, right, Cynical? For those of you that don't know, slither, what I'm talking about is when you have 3 choices between Toric, Toughness, Slither, and Peck. So it's good to have like at least a slither target in your deck. It's what's also important is to know the fights. Like for example, you have if for elites you have in the docks you have Terror Eel, Phantasma Gardeners, and the Coral Shulker person, right? In this one you have the infested guy, right? You have the statue, and then you have the oh my god, the bird, right? So how you fight each of those is very different.
Can I honestly say
Anyway.
that I don't have it remembered the way you do? I'm not gonna lie. I don't have it remembered at all. I just kind of like wing it and
I
see
also
what
have
happens.
like maybe 400 to 500 more hours than you do, so it's
Yeah,
understandable.
just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I think at least when you're playing Necrobinder, and I already know which one I'm going to pick. I'm picking Leafy Poultice, but before you pick your Neow bonus, I usually look at the map, and then first of all, I look at where I'm going to go. And I've alluded this to you before. So the first thing you need to know is that each act has 3 basic fights, and then they become significantly harder. Like instead of the fucking bush that like kicks you a bunch of times, like that for like 2 times 4, then you start getting the haunted ship or like Fogmog in well, I guess we're in Overgrowth, so you'll get like Fogmog or I don't know, one of those guys as opposed to one of the easier fights. So I look at my path and I try to evaluate, okay, do I have a forced delete? I do not have a forced elite because I can go, like, for example, I can go this way and then avoid the elite, or I can go the left. And what I mean by forced elite is like by the 6th floor or 5th floor or whatever, you have an elite that you can't avoid, right? So that would be something called like a so-called dangerous path. Now I want to look for easier paths in case something goes terribly wrong in the first few fights, or I don't get a card reward, or I don't get a potion that can help me take on an elite. Because getting elites is good. You get more gold, you get a relic, which are incredibly strong in Slay the Spire 2 as opposed to Slay the Spire 1. And you also get a card reward, which is very important. You need cards because right now your deck sucks, right? You have a bunch of strikes, a bunch of defense, which will not get you very far unless you're crazy and do a run specifically for that. But one of the first things I also want to... Actually, I'll talk about that in the next couple fights. But I'm going to evaluate my path, right? So... immediately, I recognize that going left is dangerous here. Like, say I start in the middle for the most versatility. If I go left, it's very dangerous because I'm forced to take one of these two elites, right? So I could go this way, for example, and then decide what to do here. If I'm incredibly strong, then I might decide to go for this elite. If not, then maybe I'll go the safe path, as an example. The left path is incredibly safe because there's no elite. You have 2 campfires. But I have discovered, at least through my playing, that Necrobinder is incredibly strong in Act 1 as long as she gets a few card rewards. So I think I'm probably going to go for the middle and try to go for an elite. Now, I'm probably going to try to hit this campfire as opposed to this shop, especially these two, because it's like back-to-back, so you can't really make the most out of your money. But I'm probably, let's clear this, I'm probably going to go this way and then this way, depending on what I get from my Transform 2. So these are all acceptable. Colorless cards are very strong in Slay the Spire 2. This helps me get stronger immediately. So I want to basically take as many elites as possible. The most elites I can possibly take is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? You have to look at the path. Like, say, if I went to the right, I would only get 3. If I went to the left, the minimum, I could take a 0. And so I find a safe path, I find a dangerous path, and I find what's the latest point I can decide. So the latest point I can decide is actually this way. So I'll reevaluate after my 3rd basic fight. So this is something called the macro game. The micro game is what cards to play in a certain situation when you're in a fight, which is important. It's good to distinguish the two. Macro games determine, like, what card should I pick? Which path should I take? Should I discard this potion for another? What should I buy at the shop? And both are equally important. I know I'm rambling on. I may cut some of this later, or I may include all of it and just tell you the timestamp when, like, with the next macro point happens, when the next macro point happens. But it's very important to distinguish the two because if you, like, for example, if you are really bad at one aspect of the game, it's like carrying a curse that says, oh, take 10 extra damage every fight. You can see how you're probably not going to win very many runs, right? Compared to you play perfectly, you don't have that curse. Whereas if you play badly in the macro game, you pick a card that is maybe not good for your deck, and you make so many of these constant pilings of inefficiencies that no matter how good your macro game is, you can't win a fight. And I see that happening a lot when we play, which is why I figured, hey, you're new to the game, which makes sense. You're much better than a lot of people new to the game, but there are a lot of pitfalls that happen because you're new to the game. So I'm going to pick Transform 2. And as a new player, I always recommend hitting Transform because it gives you cards, right? And Transform is almost always going to be better than a Strike or Defend. Even if a card is so-called not good in your situation, it's better than drawing a Strike or Defend because those are almost useless cards, right? So if you transform, over time, you'll eventually learn what cards are good in which search situations, which ones you should overvalue, which ones are overstated, etc., etc. So I recommend if you see something that says transform, always pick it. You
Makes
get it,
sense.
Cynical?
Yes.
And
Yes.
everyone
Yes.
watching? I hope you do.
Yes. You've
Yeah?
told me
Okay.
this
Well, I'm
many
going to hit
times.
Transform. So, Shared Fate and Dredge. Dredge gets calls back things. Three cards from your deck, which is good. Shared Fate exhausts. It upgrades to enemy loses 3 strength, but it's free to play. It's not necessarily the strongest. Something that Necrobinder does a lot is they get cards that lower their strength, but strength doesn't actually affect Asti in this situation. But I'm gonna go with my plan. I'm gonna go for these 3 basic combats. So another important thing to know about micro, and it also affects the macro game, is what each thing does, right? So the Twig Slime has a chance. It just basically attacks every turn, right, for 5, or it like slaps you every turn. Leaf Slime alternates. Twig Slime also alternates. It has a slightly higher chance of attacking because it can't give you slime turn after turn. It has to alternate. So something I could do when initially in the micro game, you should always look at what you have upcoming, right? So I know I'm gonna draw an Unleash, which is good when I have a Bodyguard, because Unleash does more damage when I have more health, so I'm automatically going to play Bodyguard. Now the question is, do I want to strike twice and kill this Twig Slime, or do I want to defend, for example, and then hit something for 12, right? So what I could do, for example, is attack twice, and the math is unfortunately important here, and kill the Twig Slime. Then I wouldn't have to block. Or I could defend and then leave it on 6 health and plan on doing something else. Or you just have to know what your options are. But in this case, I'm definitely just going to strike it twice.
Let me interrupt here for a second. How do you know
Yeah.
what each one does? Is it just something you learn over time?
Yeah, something you learn over time. You can also probably like look at it on a wiki or something. I know there's a Slay the Spire wiki. I'll like put it in the description or something. But I
Yeah,
noticed
that's a great
that
idea. Yeah.
something I noticed is that when you play Bodyguard, right, you do 6 plus whatever, however max health that Aussie has. If I play Bodyguard, then you deal 13 damage. And look at that, it has 13 health, right? So why don't I just kill it and then block twice, right? So it doesn't hurt me. And so this isn't really going to happen that much in this fight, but something you should keep aware of is, do I need to deal damage now, or can I avoid damage and I won't take as much damage later? Because sometimes if you block now, a lot of monsters scale or something, or have a big hit later, in which case you want to take damage now and to deal damage to it, or otherwise do something that would prevent you from taking damage in the future. So there are multiple ways through a fight. Sometimes it doesn't matter. In this case, it doesn't really matter. But here, another learning point is that it's important to know what cards to play in the first hand, right? So like, it's important to have if I just played Unleashed, that's fine, right? But I have Bodyguard that I could draw into, and I have a card called Slimed that costs 1, but I draw a card. Now, it's very obvious in this case what I should do. I should play Slimed first. But if I had these were 2 strikes, then I may just do Unleashed, attack. But if I play it Unleashed, then Slimed, and I drew into Bodyguard, for example, then that might not be a good idea. The same thing applies here, if you have Vulnerability, or you should probably to see if you draw into Vulnerable before you attack. Or, for example, if I played Shared Fate now, oh, it's free right now, why don't I just play it, right? What if I play my Slime to get a strike, right? Say this were a strike, then I would lose 2 strength because I didn't strike before I played Shared Fate. Understand? So you have to see, if I had 3 strikes, then maybe it wouldn't really matter, right? I'd just play strike, Unleash, and then Shared Fate. I wouldn't play Shared Fate first.
Yeah.
And Dredge doesn't actually do anything. But I'm probably just, I'm gonna look. Aussie has enough health. I don't actually need to play Shared Fate because I'm gonna kill it if I just draw 3 strikes, and that's a half chance, right? Because when you look at the math, there's a 1/6 chance that a strike is the last card that I don't draw, because you draw 5 cards by default, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a half chance that I just kill it with 3 strikes. And if not, well, I have Summon and Defend, and I have remaining 6 health and Aussie, so I'm not going to die. So I'm not going to play Shared Fate here. And I'm just going to play Dredge because I can. Alright. Alright, so I didn't draw it, but that's fine. Like, if I play Bodyguard, it has 12, right? Then I can strike twice because I'm not taking any damage, and I know I'm drawing a strike next turn, so I kill it. And it doesn't matter. You get it?
Yes.
Okay. So now.
Know what's coming. What's coming is very important.
Yes, you always hit. I know you don't like using hotkeys, but other people do. The hotkey for looking at your deck is A, and I guess what's coming up is here is A. D is for your whole deck. Now, for evaluations of cards, what you need is, do I need damage right now? Because I don't have any ethereal cards to work later, or do I want to block? Now, if I think I have 2 more opportunities for card fights before I have to commit to a path, right? So I'm probably going to pick Grave Warden, which I just, in my personal opinion, I think is a more valuable card in a vacuum, because souls are helpful because they can cycle through your cards. You can decide to play what you want, right? So I'm just going to play Grave Warden, and block is also nice, so I just don't take as much chip damage in these fights. Now, this is Fuzzy Wormcrawler. I like calling him Trump because of his hairdo. But he's going to kill my Aussie no matter what, so I'm just going to summon and then do 12 damage to it, right? And then I see what I draw next. He's going to do a lot of damage next turn, but I can't really do anything. What I do is already predetermined, or in the next couple turns. So the question is, do I want to do as much damage as possible? And the answer is yes, so I dredge, probably Bodyguard and Unleash, and this doesn't matter, so I'm going to Bodyguard and then Unleash to take less damage next turn for his big hit. I'm going to do Shared Fight to take less damage. So this is 11, right? So if I defend, I'm fine. If I Bodyguard, I'm fine. Unleash, Strength doesn't affect it, and see what I have coming up next. This will do 4 damage because I have -2 Strength, right? So I'll draw an extra card, but I can block for more damage than I know he's going to deal me, so I'm totally fine. Right, so I could just strike twice, and then I take 0 damage. So, in this case, Drain Power is like your prototypical, your stereotypical common that does damage. That's okay if it's like one of the first cards that you pick. It's not necessarily great later. Invoke, I value very highly because I like cards that are like, oh, gain energy next turn, right? Flatten is more of a speculative pick because I don't have any Aussie attacks other than Unleash right now. I have Dredge, which would be very fun with it, which is why I'm leaning towards Flatten, because right now I'm trying to decide if I can handle an extra elite, basically this one. So I'm probably going to go for a speculative Flatten because you have to think about how cards synergize with each other, right? Say I have Unleash, Flatten, and Dredge in my inventory. We play old school RuneScape, so we call like coins GP or gold GP, right? So that's also why he calls me Liver. I call him Cynical. It's because we know each other from old school RuneScape. But say I have Unleash, Flatten, and Dredge, right? I have 3 energy a turn. I can Unleash. Flatten will cost 0, right? It costs it for the rest of the turn, so I play it for free. I Dredge back, Unleash, and Flatten. And then I use 2 energy. Then I play Unleash and Flatten again, right? So Flatten costs 0. So calling it back after it costs 0 is kind of nice. Calling back 0 energy cards is you can play for free. So that's why I picked Flatten in that scenario. Get it?
Yes. Yeah, that makes 100% sense when you break it down like that. Okay.
Yeah, so I've noticed when we play multiplayer, and I find myself having to carry you a lot, which is normal because I have like 400 more hours than you do, is that you kind of just pick cards and you don't really think about them.
Or I kind of just see like what happens with them. That's kind of what I do.
Yeah, so like
yeah, it's what happens. See what could go wrong. I think it goes wrong.
Like if you say like, oh, you see 1 cost common ethereal card that does 13 damage, right? That might not be very good in Act 3, for example, when your deck relies on powers to beat the final boss, right? 13 damage doesn't really matter if the boss is 1200 HP in multiplayer. but it could help
Yeah.
because it's like ethereal. Something else I want to instill into your brain is that there's something called scaling, and then there's also something called base strength. So like an example is if you have, let's say for example, let's say the Spire one, there's a card called Carnage, right? It did like 23 damage or whatever the number was, or 21 damage for 2 energy, right? And then you upgrade it, and then it does 28 damage for 2 energy. That's a good upgrade because it's a base high base increase. Whereas, say you have a card called like Inflame, right? It gives you 2 strength as a power. If you upgrade it, it gives you 3 strength. Now, that's not a base scaling. It's like an exponential scaling, because if you have 3 strength, all of a sudden all of your attacks do more damage, right? So I want to get that into your mind also. Like, for example, Shared Fate. That's a scaling upgrade because, well, actually it's kind of both. But like Dredge is a scaling upgrade because it's retain, right? A Grave Warden, for example, is a base upgrade because it only increases your block by 3. That doesn't like scale, right? It may help you take less damage. Osti Flatten is like a base upgrade. It's kind of scaling if you dredge it a bunch, but yeah. That idea I want to instill into your head also. Now, Nibbit is an interesting fight because it's okay if you take damage, but you kind of want to deal more damage because it gains a bunch of strength if you leave it alone and just block, right? So I have to evaluate if I want to block or do more damage. So unfortunately, I drew Unleash without Flatten or anything, and I drew Dredge. So I think I am forced to take damage here because like I could have Unleashed, Flattened, Dredged, or whatever. So I'm probably gonna play Grave Warden, get a soul in my discard, my draw pile, right, which is strong because it means I can play more cards. And the soul, maybe when I have like 3 cards left in the draw, or 1 card left in the draw pile, I play it, then maybe I can draw into a card that I want, right? So I'm actually going to do damage here because I don't think I can do this fight without not taking damage. So maybe I draw a Bodyguard, which would be cool. I didn't draw a Bodyguard. So in this case, I think I play Flatten, right, to do damage, defend, and then Shared Fate, and then I don't take any. Now he's going to scale, right? So now I Bodyguard, do this. Do I want to deal 4 damage or do I play Grave Warden? I probably want to play 4 damage in case I don't draw Flatten and I have Dredge instead. But it doesn't really matter because if not, I could have just dredged into my Flatten or something, so it would have died. I think Friendship is one of the strongest cards on Necrobinder because the lose to strength doesn't really matter unless you're playing a lot of attacks yourself, and attacks from Osti don't rely on strength, right? So Poke is as a second because I have Flatten and Unleash, but it's a common, so it's more common, right? The border of this like gray border means it's a common, blue means it's uncommon, right? So I'm probably gonna pick Friendship here. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Friendship.
Because you're mainly,
So I
because you're mainly
noticed that,
attacking with the Odyssey, so it doesn't really matter if you lose strength or not,
yeah,
right?
it affects my my strikes, which I don't have very
Right.
many of because I transformed to one at the beginning, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it shapes my gameplay, right? So I'm probably not gonna pick, for example, I don't even know, a common attack where I attack myself, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably gonna start gravitating towards something that my cards that rely on strength don't matter. So like I will definitely not pick Peck if I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So I personally think, let's think about when you take a dangerous path, you have to think about the elites. Can I take, I don't, like, for example, I don't think this deck can fight a Terror Eel, but I don't have to fight Terror Eel because I'm not in Underdogs. Can I fight a bird? I think I can fight a bird. Especially because I have Shared Fate and he has multi-hit attacks. I think I can fight the infested dude because I have this potion, right? After I burst it down for its like 44 health or whatever that the first phase has, then I can just throw my explosive ampule. Then I only have to do 9 damage to each thing, so it won't take as much damage from the infecteds, right? Get it? The statue, I'll have to worry about. I think it'll be okay because I have Dredge.
Yeah.
The statue, you want to play more cards, deal damage as much as possible. You want to deal this damage as much as possible, but you want like 0 energy cards so you can trigger its debuff more often. The statue is the one I'm most worried about. I think it'll be okay because I have 2 normal hallway fights, and I think I'm well equipped to deal with the advanced hallway fights. So I'm actually going to go the risky path. So it's important to know what these guys do. The leaf slime is the same. He generally alternates between these that give you 2 slimes and attack. This guy makes you take 3 damage every turn, right? So I think I'm gonna deal with the Slithering Strangler because I don't really care about the slimes. I generate the souls, so I don't really care about the slime. So I'm just going to deal with the Slithering Stranger, and I know for a fact that the slime is going to do more damage later. It's going to stay alive longer, right? So I'm going to use shared strength on this guy, and then I'm going to end my turn. All right. So now the question really is, do I want to play Friendship to gain energy? And I think I do because this is probably going to be a little bit longer fight, and I'm going to take damage for sure. So I'm going to do Grave Warden and Friendship because those are just the best cards for not taking damage. I'm taking 15, 18 damage, right? So I'm just going to block because I don't think dealing 6 will matter that much. All right. So now, unfortunately, Austy's health does not affect it. I'm going to draw Soul just in case I get something interesting. So Bodyguard I'm almost always going to play. I'm going to play a Slimed, just in case. Do I want to Dredge the Bodyguard? I don't think so. I'm going to see if I get something stronger. I did not. So instead of doing 2 damage to the Slithering Stranger, I'm just going to defend. Okay, I'm constricted again, unfortunately. My strikes deal 0 damage, basically. So I'm just going to do this. Unleash is my damage source, and then I'll take some damage. That's okay. So I just want to get rid of... Once you kill the Slithering Stranger, also, the Constrict wears off because it's dead. You already know that, like the Shrinking bug that we didn't run into for basic fight. I'm definitely playing Unleash, and then that'll make Flatten free, right? 2 damage doesn't really matter unless 2, 4, 6. I'm going to draw Dredge at some point, in which case I'll Dredge, Unleash, and Flatten again. So I'm just going to play that so I don't take any damage. Nothing's attacking me this turn, and then I'm just going to strike it. I didn't have to strike it. I could have striked the Twig Slime, or the Leaf Slime, rather. But, alright, I'm going to do that. I'm going to Dredge. I'm going to do Unleash, Flatten, and then probably Grave Warden. And then I'm going to think about whether I want to play Bodyguard, and I think I do, so I do more damage with Unleash. Not that it really matters, but I'm just going to Bodyguard, do this, this will be free, and then I take 0 damage because I have Grave Warden. So I took some damage this fight. It's unavoidable. Soul to see what I can draw. I see that I have 4 energy. There are 3 cards that I want to really play this turn. Bodyguard, Strike, potentially. So I'm going to play Slimed. So there are 3. I'm going to see if I can play something better than a Strike. And I did. So Bodyguard, Unleash. And then I'll play a Strike next turn, and then it'll die. Or any attack. All right. I think Bone Shards is one of the most overpowered cards on Necrobinder right now because when you think about it, like a block is maybe equal to like 1.2 damage or something like that. So when you think of 1 energy, 18 or 19 damage, that's kind of like way too strong, right? Aussie dies, but like whatever. So that's why I'm going to pick Bone Shards. And now I want you to evaluate 2 cards for me. Dredge and Grave Blast. Is there any...
Dredge.
I guess, let me try to guide the question. Is there any situation where you would prefer Grave Blast over Dredge?
No.
right? Because this is 4 damage. Who cares,
No, this
right?
is for yeah. That doesn't scale and it doesn't make it better.
Yeah, the only thing you would care about is if you really needed the callback, and
Mm-hmm.
like the upgrade for this is retain, but the upgrade for Grave Blast is it gets rid of exhaust. So that would be the only reason, right? But I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna pick Bone Shards without even thinking here. It also does AoE, and AoE is very strong, particularly in this game. Nothing in my hand scales with strength, so I'm just going to play any card I want to. And I'm going to deal with the Fly Coated first as opposed to Leaf Slime because I think Fly Coated does more damage over time. Okay, so what I can do here is figure out what I'm drawing, but summons it after it dies. So Bone Shards, okay, it dies, right, whatever. I'm going to Bodyguard, and then Flatten is free, right, so that I can play these 2 cards for free. And then I'm going to look what I have next. I have Dredge, which is great. I can dredge into whatever Austy things, except something important to note is that because of my cards, I didn't do it right. So maybe I shouldn't have played that Soul on the first turn, but I don't have anything in my discard pile, so there's nothing to, because I only had 4, so I drew 5, right?
Mm.
So I'm just going to play my other cards and take 4 damage. Unfortunately, but that's okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to play... This deals 9 damage, right? So I'm going to do some math. 9 plus 7 is 16, unfortunately, so I can't actually kill it. Now, let's think about how much energy I'm spending. This is going to be free when I attack, right? So that's 1, 2, 3. So what if I... There's nothing that I really want to draw, right? So I'm not going to play this yet. Get it? So that's why it's like, oh, do I want to play the Slime? Do I want to play the Soul? It's good to check your deck.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not perfect. Like, I make micro mistakes. I'm not, like, a top player. But
So he says.
I'm good enough to... I'm good enough to do okay in games. So I'm... something important to note is that Austy, he can't attack if he's dead, right? So I'm going to...
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have Summon in my hand, so I'm just going to see the least amount... So it's probably the 7 plus 12 that will... Or the 7... Sure, it doesn't really matter. I'm just going to do this. Play Flatten to kill it, Bone Shards to block, Grave Warden, and then just that because I want to cycle through my deck, and I don't want to have a strike or a defend in my draw pile. Alright, Bone Shards, strike, strike. There's no point in dredging my Bone Shards because he's already dead, so whatever, and then just another attack. Alright, a Dex card. So I kill my Austy a lot with Melancholy. With Bone Shards, so there's really no reason for me not to pick Melancholy because it's whenever anyone dies, and that a 13 block for 0 or 1 energy is kind of a lot of block. All right, now for let's see what I get. I get the bird. So immediately, something I noticed that you do, and maybe new players also do, is that you don't consider when to use your potions. You kind of be like, oh, I need to use my potion now, even when I should have used it at the beginning of the fight. You have to evaluate if you think you're gonna need the potion. For some potions, like this Dex potion, it has diminishing returns if you use it later, right? Because you only get the 2 Dex for that later turn. So I think I'm going to save a lot of damage if I use my Dex potion, because that'll affect the Bone Shards damage block, right? I'll do a block 11 and then 7, so that's 18, right?
That we only take
as
1
opposed
damage.
to 14, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I would block 18, and then I'll probably be playing Defense or a Melancholy later, so or a Grave Warden. So I'm definitely using the Dex potion here. I don't think I need the Explosive Ampule. This is a potion that you can use when you think you need it. So I'm just gonna do that. I'm gonna take less damage and then hit it. So the bird is one where you want to front load damage because he scales with strength with territorial, right? So order is important, right? Unleash, Flatten becomes free, and then Grave Warden over Defend, and then, yeah. Because then I add a soul. Excuse me. So now I have to think. I'm definitely playing Dredge here. I don't think I need Friendship. I'm playing Dredge, so I can do Bone Shards, and flatten, I think, to do damage. I know I'm doing this. Bone shards will block for 11, so I only take 10, and then I'll probably summon afterwards, right? That becomes free, so it's probably bone shards and flatten, and then I don't care for the last one. So I'm gonna do bone shards, bodyguard to make it alive again, flatten, and then shared fate to take less damage. So I took 3. So now it does 15. Melancholy blocks the entire thing, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do bodyguard, so unleash does more damage. Now the question is, do I strike or friendship? I think I can benefit from getting the extra energy as opposed to doing 4 damage. So I'm gonna do friendship now. Okay, so let's see. It does 21 damage. I can do 12, 14, 16 damage, right? So it's probably worth it just to play these 3 and ignore the strikes so they don't really do anything. So I'm going to do this. I full block, and then it has 11 health left. Okay. And then I just unleash and bone shards and it's dead. So I actually dealt with that elite pretty well. I didn't take that much damage. Okay. This is actually a very tough decision because I value all of these cards in different ways. And if you notice how much damage, all of my damage is from Osti, right? That makes Calcify good. But Defy is also incredibly strong because it weakens. It's one of the Necrobinder's primary sources of weak. But I think in a vacuum, I actually value Defy more because it's a debuff, right? If you keep something permanently weak, you're just never going to take damage because everything's weak, right? But I have so many Aussie attacks, right, that I'm going to pick Calcify. I have Bone Shards, Flatten, Unleash, right? That makes all of them deal 6 damage upgraded. So I'm just going to pick Calcify and not even think about it. I'd like all of these cards. Cynical, in a vacuum, what would you have picked? Or like, what would you have picked with my deck?
I think I would have picked a Defy.
Defy, yeah.
Yeah, Defy.
That
I would have gone with Defy.
It's not a bad pick. I think for me, it's like 40% Defy, 60% Calcify, and I already know that adds up to 100%, but probably 20% Negative Pulse, because Negative Pulse is also good, because adding AoE Doom is very nice. Against like 4 enemies, that's 1 energy for 28 damage, right? Because Doom is almost equivalent to 1 damage. So I'm just going to pick Calcify.
And the only reason that I wouldn't pick the middle card is just because there is no other... we haven't received any other Doom cards to back that up as well.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good point. There's very little synergy, but you want to get rid of, like, most of my cards in my deck say a Doom, right? Mm-hmm. That means I have to pick Doom cards whenever I see them. That's not true. It's true for other card games. Like, say I'm playing Pokemon and I have a water deck, right? I'm not just gonna add a Charmander into my deck because I don't have any fire energies. What if you could play that Charmander and it evolved into Charizard and then it won you the game, right? You have to evaluate, like, if I may pick Friendship, that's all great and good, but I have an early deck and all of my cards are strikes, and I have a Forced Elite coming up. That'll probably kill me. Whereas if I picked like something else, like a basic common attack, then that's probably better. Now, the question is, do I want to rest here? I think I can take this Elite because I'm not going to fight the bird back to back. And I think I'm well handled for the other ones. Resting would heal me for 16, but the question is, do I have any other cards that I really want to upgrade? And I think the answer to that, if I were to upgrade anything, it would be Calcify. But I don't think I need that. I'd rather rest and see if I can take the extra Elite, because I want to go for all the Elites in this act. So I'm just going to rest. And I got Parrying Shield. It's good to look at your relics. So this means that it's very good early. If I block 10, then I deal 6 damage or something.
Oh, this fucker.
Yep, this fucker. So but I have an explosive ampule, which means that I'm very well equipped to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, note that I played Friendship Blast because I can play all of my cards here, so I'm going to play my strike, which means I play my strike first, right? So Shared Fate doesn't make it. I do 2 more damage. Now it doesn't matter because Shared Fate doesn't affect Bone Shards, but I'm going to play Bone Shards, block everything, and unfortunately I took this into account. I'm going to have a lot of infested in my deck because he's going to have. If you look, I have 3. I'm going to have 6 before the things happen, but that's okay because I have explosive ampule. Basically, what frog parasite, the infested dude that I talk about, this frog with a bunch of worms sticking out of it, is you want to front load damage so he doesn't stick all these infesteds into your deck, and you kind of want some AoE so you can deal with all of the guys at the end. That's the most optimal route. But that's fine if you have an explosive ampule, and you don't necessarily have to have AoE if you have a strong block, for example, or you have strong damage. But I'm going to dredge. So I get Bone Shards and Unleash. And a Defend, why not? Because that's better than what I had. I'm going to do... That does 24 damage. He's doing 0 damage to me, so I'm probably just going to Unleash and then Bone Shards to try to kill it fast. And then 12 damage. Look, I drew a Flatten, which does more than 12 damage. Perfect. Now, Explosive Ampule is one of those cards that you use it if you absolutely need it. Maybe I'm not going to take any damage, right? So, Bone Shards does AoE, right? But I want to play Unleash first. So I'm going to Unleash this, right? It does damage. I'm going to kill this because I can. Now, do I want to use Explosive Ampule and finish this fight off? Or do I want to take 6 plus 7 damage, which is 13, so I take 4 damage? I think the answer is I keep my potion because I can use it for these guys. Now, do you know how Potion Chance works? Well, actually, let me explain this. Potion Chance, it's not random when you get a potion. It's you start from the very first fight, you start at 40% to get a potion. If you don't get a potion, it goes up by 10%. So then, this fight, I had a 50% chance to get a potion. I didn't get a potion, right? So then, at this fight, I had a 60% chance to get a potion. I got a potion. Now it's back at 50%. I go here. I didn't get a potion. Now, after this fight, I'm at 60%. Here, I got a potion, so I'm at 50%. Here, I didn't get a potion, so I'm at 60%. And now I'm at a 60% potion chance. I think if I get a potion, I'm actually just gonna take the 4 damage because I'm almost certain that I can kill these guys before I take damage again. So I'm just gonna Grave Warden because my strikes don't actually do anything, and then this. So I decided to keep my Explosive Ampule, even though it would have been very good there. I may still end up using it. No, I'm not. Just kidding. All right, now I'm at 50% potion chance again. This is add 2 souls into your hand. That's basically draw 4, which is very nice. All right. Demesne is a very strong card because more energy, more card draw. What is there not to like, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Bar Time has synergy with like Dance Macabre.
Friendship? Oh, okay. Oh.
With Friendship, no. When you deal block, you get blocked for doing 2 energy. But I'm picking Demesne here without even Domain, whatever the heck, however you pronounce it. Just because it's a strong card.
Can I honestly say I didn't know that you could go back on the map and see the rewards that you got for that last fight? I didn't.
Oh yeah,
know
it's
that
something they added.
Okay, I
like
how long ago? Because I
here.
just see this. I just saw this.
Yeah. It's like I saw that in this entire Birdonis fight. Sure, I used a Dex potion. I took 4 damage, right? Maybe I can handle the bird, right? So I'm not too concerned about these elites. This is Mauler. He's mean. Now the question is, do I want to play a Domain right now and then do 0 damage? I think the answer is no, because I think I can deal or block enough that I can deal with him. So I'm just gonna Bone Shards, Friendship, and then I'll probably block. I probably should have striked first, but I'm not really too concerned. I am the Grave Warden Defend blocks the same amount as Melancholy for 2 energy. So I think I'm just going to calcify to get extra OC damage, and then whatever, and then do damage because of parrying shield. So I'm gonna soul to see what I draw, and I have flatten, so I'm gonna dredge and attack, and I have bodyguard, so I can actually dredge bone shards, and melancholy will make me take 0 damage. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm going to bone shards, bodyguard, so it's back alive, flatten, melancholy because I can. I'm going to strike 4 damage and then shared fate. Yeah, the reason I'm being a little more careless with my micro is because I'm not concerned about this fight at all. You have to basically understand when you need. So last fight against this guy, the frog parasite. So when you think about the 2 elites I fought, I'm probably going to fight the statue, right? And energy is very nice to have for the statue. And card draw, actually, because you want to stack the add cumulative 10% damage. So I'm going to throw away my explosive ampule, pick up the energy potion, and then look at this. Now, these are 2 cards that I already have in my deck, but flatten is nice because it stacks with itself. If I have 2 flattens, then I can just play 1 flatten and play the other flatten, right? Or if I draw another Aussie attack, then great, I can flatten again. Or I can dredge into 2 flattens and do more damage. Melancholy is nice, but I already have one. I'm not struggling for block.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I've taken almost no damage, and Great Blast I think is the worst card in the game. So I'm probably gonna pick flatten here. Even though Grave card has like a shinier border, I'm picking flatten. You get it? I don't think I need a campfire because I want. I think if you can pick between upgrading a card or resting, if you have to rest, then great. If you need to upgrade something to make something work, then upgrade it. But in a vacuum, elites give the best rewards because they give everything, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not even gonna think about this. I'm gonna play Domain, Demesne, however the heck you say it, because it just lets me play more cards. This, I just have to be aware that I want to play Flatten as the last card, right? And I think I can play a big card because save up these potions in the future for Dredge when I want to play a lot of cards at once. So I'm going to play Bodyguard, Friendship to have 5 energy a turn, which is ridiculous, and then Flatten. Okay, he's doing 25, right? So now I have to think about this. I can definitely Dredge cards back, right? So Bodyguard is important to dredge back after I play Bone Shards, so my Ostia is alive, right? So let's think about this turn. Do I have to use a potion? Unfortunately, I didn't draw these cards, but that's fine. I could Pot of Ghouls to Soul 1, so I have those cards in my hand. But let's think. I have the ability to play these if I want to, if I play 1 Soul, right? Alternatively, I could dredge back, Flatten, and Bodyguard, and another card, whatever. Or after I put like Bone Shards, I dredge back the Bodyguard. Then I play my Flattens, or I could play Flatten now. So there are a lot of options here. To not bore you guys, Unleash will not actually do too much. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play Calcify because I'm always playing that. I'm going to play Bone Shards and I get 9 block, which is great. I'm going to dredge back Bodyguard. Bone Shards because it's funny, and then Flatten. Right? I'm going to play Bodyguard, so it's alive. Flatten, and then Bone Shards. Now, I'm wondering if you would have thought of that.
No, I would have not. I would have not.
No?
No.
It's just important to think about what you...
Yeah, these, I mean, it's because, I mean, just your hours of the game, it shows the experience.
Yeah, I guess.
Shows it.
Yeah, you have to think about the best course of action
Hmm.
with cards like Dredge. Um, in this case, it's pretty clear. I have 5 energy. I can play 5 cards with Flatten, so I'm going to play my non-attacks first, or the ones that don't matter as much. 10% damage for losing 2 strength. That'll do 14. 14, 10% extra damage. 20. Uh, it is, I believe it's worth it playing that actually, but I'll probably play the strike first. The Grave Warden first for sure. Strike. Shared Fate for the extra. Unleash, then Flatten, and then it's set. Perfect. Now my potion chance is like 30%. It doesn't really matter. The weak potion, I don't have weak yet. Let's see if I have weak here. I'm leaning towards Scourge or Fear because I have a lot of Aussie attacks, and Vuln is okay. Unfortunately, the Ethereal, it doesn't matter as much to me. But with that said, I don't think I picked the weak potion because I'd rather have energy and draw. Because I'm not taking any damage anyway. So if you have something like Whetstone, it's important to pick your card first. In this case, I think Vuln... It actually upgrades to 2 Vuln, which may be helpful for Ceremonial Beast. Drawing a card is also nice. Like, for example, the 13 Doom doesn't really help me too much because I don't have other Doom cards, but it's nice to just apply 13 Doom, right? And then draw a card. Which will be very helpful because when I play both my powers, I'm going to have 5 energy a turn. On the other hand, I could get Fear and then do Vulnerable, and then everything takes way more damage. So I think I'm just going to pick Fear in this case. Whetstone, I picked an attack, right? So I'm just going to upgrade it, see if I upgraded it. I don't, and then skip the Fear potion. I could go to the campfire, but I'm not going to. I'm going to go for this advanced hallway fight and then towards the elite. The question is, do I need to... Can I domain? I can if I do an energy pot. Unfortunately, I got a weak potion last fight, so I am probably not going to get a potion this fight. I don't think I need domain. I'm just going to Fear, so is Vuln, Bone Shards, and then Shared Fate so I don't take any damage. And take 1. Alright, he's debuffing me. So I can play every card but strike, so I'm just going to do that without even thinking. And my attacks cost 1 extra this turn, but that's okay. I can actually Dredge into a block card, so I'm probably going to do that. Like, I don't know, this, and it doesn't matter. Unleash. So I could... Eight, that blocks 15. I could Unleash to bring it to 7, and I wouldn't be able... this would cost 1 energy, unfortunately, because the Tangled comes after it costs 0. Pretty sure, so I'm just going to Bodyguard and Grave Warden. It still takes 0 damage. Soul will draw me cards, so let's do that. This kills it. 16 plus 4 is 20, so why did I do that? Okay, I don't need Grave Blast for reasons earlier. Defile, I don't need because it scales with my strength, right? I don't want it. The question is Borrowed Time. And if I draw Borrowed Time and Domain on the same turn, then that would be great. Borrowed Time is basically the same if you have 1 card attacks or 1 card cost things. So I think I'm going to pick Borrowed Time and then go for this. Okay, I got this again. I'm just going to do this and then Shared Fate. I could draw cards now, but I don't think I need it at the moment. Okay, I'm actually going to play Domain here, and then the Energy Potion. Play Bone Shards, and then this because it's free, even nothing happens, and then that. Okay, I'm gonna soul to see what I get. I'm gonna calcify, so do more damage. I deal 7 damage next turn, but I also block, so I don't really. I block a lot, so I'm just gonna do Friendship Flatten. Okay, unfortunately I have a lot of Infecteds in my deck, but that's okay. Fear and Unleash kill it. So the question is, do I want to kill it right now? And I don't think I do. I want to wait till I have an attack card. Do I want to stun it this turn? Because I can full block. What?
Why do you not want to kill it?
Because
why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you?
Because if I just play Unleash right now, then it'll be stunned this turn. Mm-hmm. Whereas I could kill it next turn and then have it be stunned next turn, and maybe I'll draw better cards that I can play to deal more damage to the guys that pop out of it.
Oh, okay. I forgot about that.
Yeah. So I definitely could have Unleashed before Wundling, but I'm actually just going to play Melancholy here and not kill it. Okay. So, unfortunately, I don't think I can deal with getting more Infecteds, but I'm probably going to draw Bone Shards. I'm actually going to use this potion to try to draw into Bone Shards. Yeah. So now I see if I draw a flatten to just kill it, I believe. Yeah. Okay, I did not, unfortunately. So this is my AoE. So I'm actually just going to kill it with Unleash. Yeah, unfortunately I didn't draw any of the flattens, so 3, 6, 9, 12. So I'm gonna block anyway. So I only need to dredge 2 cards. Actually, if I strike, then also take borrowed time. It's fine. Sure. Unleash. I play borrowed time, so I can play Bone Shards for block, and then Bodyguard. And now everything has much less health. Mm-hmm. Okay, flatten stacks with itself, so I can flatten to kill something. Probably the thing that's doing damage to me. Then I can flatten this again. I'll do 5 damage to kill this, and then we're fine. And blocking enough does 6 damage to it. Cool. We got Rainbow Ring, which means I have a power, or a power that I can, a couple. Yeah, so this can trigger a couple times. Death March, I don't have any soul really. So if I would pick anything, it's probably Pull Aggro, because it's a summon card, and also it blocks 13 for 2 energy. It's not the best. I actually think Scourge might be better here.
Just because of the draw one.
Yes. No, I need more ways to resummon after I play
Kill
Body
Austin.
Shard. So I'm gonna play Pull Aggro. Yeah, after I murder my hand. All right. Do I need common cards? I don't really think so. So because I have a campfire coming up, and I think I can deal with Ceremonial Beast, which needs front load damage or player powers initially. I'm just gonna do that, take the chosen cheese, and then rest. This guy, I want to play all my powers, and I have my powers here. I can only play 3 things, so I'm probably going to play Calcify Friendship with Bone Shards and say sorry to the Ethereal card. I'm not going to waste my Dredge for the 1 Strength Index. Okay. Cards cost an additional, but I don't need to play it because I can play all my cards. So why don't I do that? And then this for fun. Okay, I need to get it as low as possible. The question is, can I handle taking 22? It will be less if I play Domain, Defend, and Shared Fate. I'll take 14 instead. But now I draw an exit card, which may save me. And because my Asti has been dying every turn, I have Melancholy. I play every card. Okay, Melancholy is free to play, so why don't I just do it? Pull aggro to take less damage in the future. Unleash, flatten, strike, and it's perfect because I actually stun it with parrying shield. But I would have preferred not to that turn, so I would have an extra turn of stun. So I have Dredge, which means I can actually dredge a bunch of cards to do as much damage as possible. So I'm actually gonna play my flatten here. Dredge, take back the flattens, and unleash. Bodyguard. Flatten, unleash for 27. And then Asti has 17 health, so he's an absolute tank. And I can only play 1 card. Unfortunately, it's probably the 20 damage. Because Asti lives, so there's no point in playing. Alright. That does 12. That will do more now. This... do 5 damage or block 5. I'd rather block 5 to keep Asti healthy than unleash. And then parrying shield does more damage. Melancholy is free, so why don't I play it? Soul, Bodyguard, flatten, strike. And then block to deal. Then Bone Shard kills it. Yeah, so this was kind of a long Act 1. It was an hour, so I'm probably going to split this video up into 3 parts. So I'll play Act 2 later, and I'm sure you're getting tired, Cynical. So I don't want to overflow your head. I don't have very many ethereal cards. I really...
No, I was just gonna say it. You're sending a lot of information, and it's very useful. But it just makes me realize like how I've just been playing wrong the whole time.
Yeah, and I'll make more of these videos for you and for other people. This is how I play Slay the Spire when I'm thinking about it. I'd probably finish Act 1 in maybe like 20 minutes or 15 minutes if I didn't have to explain everything. But it's been an hour. It's probably a long video. Now, the last question is, do I want Banshee's Cry, which is 33 damage AoE, if I play a lot of ethereal cards? Now, let's count my ethereal cards. I have
1.
Fear, which I'm almost kind of regretting because I almost feel like I never play it. I have Domain, which will almost always be played in fights I really need it, so that's 2, which means that in 1 deck cycle, I won't even be able to play this, so I'm probably not going to pick that. Soulstorm, the only card that I have generating Storm right now, or Storm, Soul, is my Grave Warden, and that's only 1 of them, right? Unless I get a potion. So I'm definitely picking Hang here, and hope that like maybe I can dredge it, or I get like Perfect Fit or something like that. Or I can. This is also a card that I may end up cloning. So there. That was Act 1. I'll probably finish the video here. All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I hope you learned something.